Okay, good evening, everybody. Alright, so welcome back, guys, again to another pre-market live analysis with me. Alright, and how is everybody doing? Alright, I know that recently there was a gold market crash, not only gold, but gold, silver, um, S&P 500, and a lot of indices as well has crashed, right? There was a minus 0.5% crash in the markets recently, right? And you could possibly see like very huge red candles appearing in the markets, right? So I hope that you guys would have exited your trades by then, okay? Alright, so let's just begin the webinar. Okay, so as usual, this is the disclaimer. Remember that everything in this webinar is educational in nature and nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. Alright, so please remember to do your own due diligence before you guys trade. Alright, so without further ado, let's head on to the next page, which is the agenda. Okay, so firstly, we'll be going through high impact news events for the week ahead, and afterwards, we'll be going through together the key technical setups to watch out for. Alright, so stay tuned for that. So I'm your host for today. My name is Woon Hong, and I'll be going through with you guys today's pre-markets live analysis. Okay, so basically for the key news events for the week ahead, right? This week, for the month of February, we will have a lot of news. Alright, so please be a little bit patient with me while I explain a couple of these high impact news. Okay, so Monday we have the USD ISM manufacturing PMI news, right? For that news itself, you wouldn't have to be too worried about this news from my experience, because the price this news wouldn't really affect price that much. Okay, however, on Tuesday, okay, we have the AUD cash rate as well as the monetary policy statement and other news as well, like the press conference. Okay, so it will affect pairs like AUD USD and AUD JPY, etc. Okay, and the next thing is also we have USD job openings. Okay, so this will affect a lot of the USD pairs as well, because it is in regards of the job openings news. Okay, so whether people are employed or unemployed. Okay, the next thing is also on Wednesday we have NZD employment change as well as unemployment rate. Okay, so for this news, right, the main pair that it will be affected will be NZD USD and NZD and other pairs as well, okay, like GBP NZD, etc. Okay, and afterwards we have the USD ADP non-farm employment change. Alright, so this is the prerequisite of our NFP on February 6th. Alright, so this always happens in the first week of the month. Alright, and then afterwards we have on Thursday, we do have a lot of GBP news, okay, and Euro news as well as USD news. Okay, for GBP we have mainly the monetary policy summary, right? So the main pairs that will be affected will be GBP USD, GBP JPY. Okay, these two pairs. Alright, then afterwards we also have the Euro main refinancing rate as well as the monetary policy statement as well. Okay, and afterwards we have USD unemployment claims. So Thursday itself will be a very volatile day for GBP USD, Euro USD. Right, these two pairs will definitely move very quickly in the markets. Okay, and lastly on Friday we have the CAD news, right? The governor speaking, and afterwards right, we have the AUD news, also the governor speaking, right, and after that, a couple of hours later, like 12 hours later, we have CAD employment change, unemployment rates, and also our favorite USD NFP, alright, which is our non-farm employment change. So this day itself, on Thursday and Friday, right, I would suggest on Thursday you could still be in trades, right, because of the volatility, but on Friday itself, right, and this is based on Singapore timing, okay, so 9:30 p.m. onwards, right, I will suggest on at 9:15 p.m. alright, GMT plus 8, right, though that timing onwards, all your trades should be exited by then, right, because you don't want to be affected by the US NFP, alright, all the way until probably 10:30 p.m. That's when the volatility would die down a little bit, but there is still a little bit more volatility for you to catch the New York session part of it, okay. So this time frame, GMT plus 8, right, 9, okay, to make it simpler, maybe 9 p.m. onwards, right, you should not be in any trades, right, all the way until probably 10 to 10:30 p.m. okay. That's for just in case that you guys are affected by the US NFP, okay. Alright, so now without further ado, let's head back to the charts to do the analysis, okay, to do the pairs, the different pairs for the week ahead. Alright, so remember, as usual, for every pre-market live analysis, if you guys have any pairs that you want me to go through with you, feel free to just type it in the live chat down below and I will go through the pairs with you guys, okay. Very simple stuff. Alright, so let's start off with DXY. Okay, so for DXY itself, right, you can see how previously we had a very strong drop downwards here. We can see all these strong engulfing bearish candles, right. So after the major drop, which is past this low right here, right, we have a nice recovery towards the upside, alright. And where is DXY looking to hit to, right? The first area that DXY could possibly hit to is this pullback resistance level over here, alright. So this pullback resistance level is important because this sets the direction of DXY. If DXY actually go past this pullback resistance to go higher, right, then we could possibly see a bullish recovery for the US dollar index, right. However, the next thing is, the other possibility is that price, after price comes up, it goes down, major rejection, right, and then it will continue to create lower lows afterwards, alright. So these are the two possibilities that we are looking at, alright. So which one has a higher probability of happening, right? Firstly, let's take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. Alright, so you can see over here, right, price is below the bearish Ichimoku cloud and could potentially create further bearish momentum, right? Even though you see such a nice recovery for DXY, but if you look at this momentum for the Ichimoku cloud, you could see how it portrays that the momentum could be bullish in the future, right? So which one is more likely to happen would be the bearish outcome, okay. Then the next thing that we want to look at is, since this is out the level, we will place this as our pivot point. Okay, so this is the level in which we will possibly see price reject off this pullback resistance to create bearish momentum. Okay, then the next thing that you want to look at is, of course, whether there is any feeble retracement levels. So you mark out from this high to this low, right? And to be safe, I think it is, oops, let's see, 61 and 50. Yeah, I think let's use the 61.8%. So since there is a gap between our 61.8% feeble retracement level as well as our pivot point, right, then we shall mark out this area over here as our resistance area. Okay, so we are expecting, right, for price to show a little bit of momentum over here before it rejects off this pivot point. Alright, this is what we are looking for. Alright, and then the next thing is, of course, our first resistance and our first support. Okay, so for our first resistance, we can use this swing high resistance level over here. Alright, so remember the other outcome that I showed you guys, right? This breakout of the pivot point. So if this were to happen, right, price could possibly come all the way up to this resistance level. Okay, and then you can start to see the sellers come in as well. Alright, so but this first outcome is the one that is most likely to happen based off its market structure. Alright, then of course for our first support, right, we can take a look at this swing low support level over here. So we will label this as our first support. Okay, very simple stuff. So of course this is what we are looking at, since DXY is expected to show bearish momentum, right? Then pairs such as euro dollar, GBP USD, right, gold is expected to increase, right, because they have a inverse relationship with each other. Okay, let me label this. Alright, I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't think we have any projection. Let me check. Yeah, you can see how the 100% feeble projection ends here. Alright, so we can't use the projection, we can only use the feeble retracement. Okay, yeah, and one important thing that I think should be noted is that there is a gap over here, right? This level, you can see how there is a fair value gap over here. Alright, so with such a strong level over here, it is quite crucial to see how price would react once it comes into this pullback resistance level over here. Okay, so this is one thing to note as well. Alright, yeah, sure bro. AUD USD. Okay, let's take a look at AUD USD. Okay, so wow, AUD USD has been doing extremely well. Okay, you can see how it has been on the rise, breaking past all these highs. First it broke this high, right? Then after that created a lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So what we can expect next is for price to possibly create a higher low to form another higher high. Okay, so this is what I might be looking at. Okay, remember, higher low to form a higher high, right? So meaning that we are possibly looking at buy side of AUD USD. Okay, of course if you turn on the Ichimoku cloud, price is way above the Ichimoku cloud, okay, because of how strong the bullish trend is. Alright, however, we need to take a look at where we can possibly see a pivot point, right? So the first level, there is of course this area over here, right? Previously it was one of the higher resistance level, right? But price broke past this resistance level over here. Okay, so once price breaks past this resistance level, okay, then UJ, okay, sure, I'll go through with you guys UJ later on. Okay, so once we have a break over here, right, the next thing that we want to look at is whether there is a possibility for price to show reaction as a pullback support. Alright, and from what I can see right now, okay, price has not, if I were to zoom into this area, okay, price has not retested this pullback support at level at all yet. Okay, so this is a good thing for us, because since price has not showed any form of retest, right, just remember, once you always have a strong breakout, right, there is bound to have a retest, right, either on the lower time frame or the daily time frame. Okay, so daily time frame, we haven't seen a retest yet. Okay, so and this level, right, this candlestick pattern is extremely important. Alright, so let me explain a little bit more on why this is one of my favorite candlestick patterns. Okay, so if you are looking to enter buys, okay, if you are looking to enter buy positions, alright, then what you are looking for is firstly a breakout, right? That would be great, right? Then the second thing for a breakout to happen is you want to look for a bearish candle, but a small one. Okay, so a small bearish candle followed by a large bullish candle. Okay, so this is considered a bullish engulfing candle, the one right next to this bearish candle. Okay, then the third criteria is we need to have 2 consecutive bullish candles. Alright, so all these aligns very nicely for us. Okay, so at this area over here, most likely the buyers will try to come in and enter buy positions, right? Okay, as this is a rather strong demand zone, and if you see such candlestick patterns on the daily time frame, it is one of the best that you can look for. Alright, then the next thing that you want to look at is of course whether we have any Fibo retracement levels. Okay, so what I would suggest is don't draw your Fibo level from this low to this high, and the reason why is because you are essentially cutting through price action over here. Alright, you can see how you are cutting through this level, right, making it insignificant. Okay, but what you should do is to, this is the perfect one, and then you go all Fibs and see if it aligns with your Fibo retracement level. Okay, so we have the closest one, which is 38.2% Fibo retracement level. Alright, then the next thing that you need to look for is of course your support, first support. Alright, so the level that you should possibly look at is this area over here. This is the most valid one. Okay, this is your first support level. It is also another pullback support area that you should be looking at. Okay, then the first resistance that you want to look for is of course at this level over here. So give price a little bit more space to breathe, right? So this should be your resistance area. Okay, so what we are essentially targeting is for to most likely look for buy positions, right, from this pivot point for price to continue its bullish trend. Alright, very simple stuff. Let me see. I think there is, let's hope that there is okay, no projection as well, so we can't use it, so that's fine. Yeah, I think this is the overall structure of AUD USD. Very simple stuff actually. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how this might work out for AUD USD. Okay, next pair would be UJ. Okay, UJ. Okay, first thing that we need to take note of, right? For UJ, right, we are in a very bullish trend, right? You can see how we have struck such a strong bullish trend, right, all the way from here to here, right? But let me see. I think, yeah. Okay, so we are, but there is a possibility that price could potentially be bearish because of DXY. Okay, so right now, USD JPY is of course bullish because of how DXY is recovering, right? You can see how we had the same strong candles. Okay, however, one thing that you might want to be careful of is bearish momentum forming. Okay, so but let me see. Let me take a look. Okay, this is important. Okay, let me see. Okay, so for USD JPY, one level that you could possibly need to be careful of is this pullback resistance level. Okay, so why is this important? Is because of this gap over here, right? Quite a lot of people underestimate this thing called gap trading, right? So whenever there is a gap over here, right, which is formed during one of the weekends. I think it was last weekend, right? Yeah. Then over the weekends, it formed a gap. Market opened straight away. It became bearish, right? So price will definitely be attracted to this gap, but how it reacts to the gap depends on the overall market structure. Okay, so there is a possibility that price could reject off this gap to come lower. Okay, because after all, right, we already broke past this level, and this is considered a change of character. Okay, right, so what could price do is maybe come up to this pivot point and slowly continue its bearish momentum. Okay, causing further break off structures. Okay, this is what I might be looking at for USD JPY, but as of right now, okay, price is still bullish, so we don't know 100% for sure how price will react here. Okay, but one thing that we can do is to see whether we have feeble retracement level, definitely at the 50%. Yeah, you can see how it aligns very nicely with this pivot point. So let me just adjust this a little bit more. Yep, you can see how it aligns very nicely. Okay, so yeah, then the next thing is of course whether we have any feeble levels. Let me see. I don't think we have. Let me see. Oh wow. Okay, for this Fibo projection, yeah, I think we can use it, this 100% Fibo projection. Okay, so let's be careful once price reach this area. Okay, yeah, David, okay, my friend, what you want to look for is, of course, for price to close bearish below this pivot point, and then you start to enter trades. Okay, if it ever starts to close above this pivot point, alright, then don't enter UJ for now. Okay, then for your resistance level, the area that you want to be careful of is, of course, this area over here. Okay, so all these gaps are huge, right? But that doesn't mean your stop loss should be all the way. If let's say you're aiming for shorts here, right, your stop loss shouldn't be right here. Okay, this is too much of a stop loss, right? It could possibly be here, right? Narrow it down to H1 time frame. If you're looking at daily, narrow it down to H1 time frame for your entries. Okay, if you are looking at H4, narrow your entries to M15. Okay, very simple stuff. Okay, then the next thing is, of course, for your first support, what you are probably looking at is this area here. Okay, so let's see how UJ might react at these areas. Let me see. Yeah, this is something that I might be looking at. Yeah, no worries, my brother. Very simple stuff. Yeah. Okay, so just one thing to note, daily time frame is just the overall outlook. Okay, but of course, for entries wise, you want to narrow down your time frame. Okay, but don't go too low. Follow the first time frame that you were looking at. So always follow daily, H4, and then H1 or M15. Okay, H1 or M15 is for your entries. Daily and H4 is for your marking out of all these levels. Okay, very simple stuff. On a maybe like a weekly or basis, right? You can just do the same thing that I do. Okay, so let's run through a couple more of these pairs. I think it's quite simple. Let me see. Yeah, I think we can stick to this. This is fine. Okay, pivot point. Okay, so for, let me see. Okay, so for EU, right, our pivot point is a very simple common level over here. Alright, so this is what we are looking at. We are also looking at a bounce, right? Remember, if DXY is gonna be bearish, right, it is natural for these pairs to be bullish. Okay, so this is the levels that I am essentially looking at, 61 and 78. Okay, don't have too big of a gap. Then the next thing is possibly for GU. Okay, GU, let me mark this out for you guys. Okay, so your pivot point for GU is possibly this level here, right? This pullback level. Alright, I would say if you put it here, it's a little bit too hasty, right? Price could easily just break past this level. Okay, so I would suggest to put here, because one reason is we have a very beautiful fair value gap here. Okay, so whenever I spot such nice areas, then I would prefer to use this as my pivot points. Okay, then the next thing that you want to look at is your feeble retracement level. So aligns very beautiful, very nicely with my 61.8% feeble retracement level. Okay, then of course the next thing that you want to look at is your support, right? Your first support. Okay, so I think this level is fine. Okay, let's use this level, this swing low support level. Okay, then we definitely don't have a projection because from one look you can possibly see that, yeah, the projection ends here. Okay, so same thing, we can't use it. Then for our resistance, we will place it back at this high. Very simple stuff. Okay, so you are expecting a bullish bounce towards the upside. Alright, for GBP USD. Okay, if you guys have any questions, just stop me at any point of time, and then I will go back to your question. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at USD CHF. Same thing, USD CHF, we have a pivot point right here, first resistance over here. Okay, so this is what we are possibly looking at, and then afterwards, how you should mark out your feeble retracement level is from this high to this low, right? Then afterwards you can see that there is a little bit of a gap between the feeble retracement level and our pivot point, so we will mark out this level. Okay. Oh, okay, that's good. Nice, solid. Okay. So for USD CHF, right? You can definitely see the momentum has changed, right? Previously we had a very beautiful consolidation here. Oh, why is this box so huge? Okay, let's use a blue box. Okay, so you can see in this blue box, right, if you buy and sell within this blue box, instant money, right? Sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, right? Very simple stuff, until the point where the bubble breaks and it became bearish, right? It was at the same time where DXY had this very bearish run. Okay, so right here is where you need to look at the bearish continuation. Okay, so after we had a bearish breakout, right, this is the pullback resistance level that we want to look at. Okay, I don't think that there is a projection as well. Yeah, sad. Wanted to see a projection that it will make this level stronger. Okay, but yeah, this is what we are looking at for USD CHF. Okay, next thing, USD CAD. Yeah. Okay, let me redraw all of this. Okay, so for USD CAD, I would say USD CAD is a little bit choppy right now, right? Right here, it reacted very beautiful, very nicely as a pullback resistance. Oh, there's something in my eye. Okay, but right now, I would say this level doesn't really give me that confidence that I would like to have, because of how strong this level is, right? Let me see. I can definitely see that there is a potential at this level, right? You can see how that there is a 38.2% right smack at my level, but you see, after I mark out my pivot point, right, 38.2, okay, for example, let me mark it out like this. The next trouble that a lot of people, hey Nick, my friend, no worries, you can just rewatch the video as always, because they will upload it to their channel. Yeah, I went through quite a few majors already. Yeah, USD CAD is one of the last majors, but don't worry, you can just catch up later on. Okay, I've gone through the pairs that you guys most likely trade. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so let me explain a little bit more. Just take a step back and explain a little bit more on some of the troubles that people have. Okay, so after, like, let's say for most beginners, right, after you mark out your pivot point, the next thing that might trouble you, right, is how should you place your first support and first resistance levels, right? First support, very simple, right here, very visible. But first resistance, what about our first resistance, right? It might have a little bit of trouble. Okay, so this is a little bit too high, right, compared to this first support. Okay, so the next level that you should probably look at is let me see if this is valid. Yeah, I think we have no choice but to place it here. Okay, so yeah, sometimes such levels, it is fine if you have such differing levels between your first resistance, first support, and your pivot point. That's fine. Okay, but as for USD CAD, I would like to say that there are two levels that could possibly have show reaction. Okay, first level right here. Okay, second level here. Okay, not too far from each other actually, right? Possibly, yeah, it's about 40 pips difference. But of course, you know, like for USD CAD, USD JPY, it is not the same as Euro Dollar, GBP USD, right? There is a difference in the value of the currency. Okay, so USD CAD is on the cheaper lot size, cheaper side. Okay, the more, how to say, maybe bigger lot size, don't lose as much, right? Yeah, something that straightforward. Okay. Projection. I have a feeling that, yeah, I think this is more valid. I think this is fine. Finally we get a projection. Okay, so I think this is a valid area that we should probably look at. Okay, this area over here, we have 38.2% Fibo retracement plus 61.8% Fibo projection. Okay, so these two together adds on a level as a Fibo confluence. Okay, so this helps us to get a better understanding that once price comes to this level, most probably it will show a stronger reaction, right? So yeah, that's why I would say the direction is possibly bearish. Right, if you turn on the Ichimoku clock, price is very much bearish as well and could possibly continue its bearish momentum. Alright, Okay, all these majors we have gone through. NZD USD. Oh, yes. Okay. Last but not least, NZD USD. Okay. So after NZD USD, we will go through gold and indices also. Okay. Then after that, we'll call it a day. Okay. So for NZD USD, right? I think yeah, I think this level is fine. This level is quite visual. Yeah, I think this is fine. Pivot point. First support. Yeah, beautiful. First support, and my first resistance is this level. Okay, after you have marked out all your levels, then the next thing that you want to look at is your Fibo retracement. Not as beautiful as I thought it was. Okay, so far you can see how for NZD USD we don't really have a very beautiful Fibo retracement level, right? So you have to be a little bit more careful for pairs like this. Okay, only the 61.8% Fibo retracement level is quite close to our first support, so we can highlight that. But anything apart from there has such a huge gap. Okay, so you want to be a little bit more careful for that. Oh, but I think we do have a beautiful projection, 78.6% Fibo projection for our pivot point. Okay, so possibly looking at a bullish bounce from this area. Alright, this is for NZD USD. Okay, so we have covered all the majors. Alright, so let's go to wow, yeah, remember the gold crash, right? I think it's very normal. Yeah, one of the biggest crash so far, right? But it was bound to happen because of too much hype in the markets, right? Then one word, a couple of words from the president itself just crashed the markets. Okay, yeah. So for gold, I think one level that you possibly want to look at is, I would say, daily is a little bit hard to mark out, right? H4 is so much easier because of such a strong candle, right? H4, the level that I was looking at was this area over here. Yeah, most probably there will be a strong rejection here. But if you look on daily, right? Daily time frame is just one candle. Okay, so oh my gosh, let me see. Okay, I think let's wait for price to come down more. Alright, possibly to this pivot point, and then afterwards we can see a bounce upwards. As of right now, I think it's very hard to draw conclusions on gold. Alright, so this could be my potential pivot point. My first support definitely at this level. I know these are all very big gaps, right? Euro CAD. Oh, that's an interesting pair. Sure. Okay, I would say, yeah, let me just mark this out. First resistance. Okay, Yeah, so gold is not so nice right now. Previously it was so beautiful, like the way it moved, it was gorgeous, but right now it's like not too nice. Yeah, so I would suggest to stay out of gold for right now until you manage to see proper movements in the markets. Then you can touch gold. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Euro CAD. IC markets. Okay, let's do Euro CAD. Oh my days. Okay, directional bias, possibly bullish. Yeah. Possibly bullish, possibly showing signs of recovery. Let me see. Yeah, this pair is messy. Okay, I think H4 you can possibly see something, right? H4. Wow. My friend, I think it's best if you don't trade this pair. Not that I would say the levels are too messy, right? For you to draw conclusions. It's not that clean of a pair for you to trade right now. I mean, you could possibly see, I would say, look for sells at this level. At this area over here. I would say you can look for sells, right? Very beautiful. But if you look on daily, right? If you go to daily, just created a very strong wick over here, right? I would say it's bullish. Okay, I would say it's bullish on the daily time frame because of how it created this very strong wick, right? But based off all the structures, it's giving me mixed signals, right? Not as clear as I would like it to be. Like even if I wanted to stay on the buy side of things, it doesn't give me a level to buy from, right? If I were to go to H4, okay, yeah, I would say Euro CAD would most probably come to this level. Your first obstacle, right, is this area over here. Okay, this is your first obstacle. Okay, let me just put a dotted resistance area over here. Why dotted is because high chance of it being taken out, but also there is a small probability that it could react here. Okay, you can see how price broke past these lows. Alright, broke past these lows, so small chance of it reacting here. Alright, and I think there is a free bull retracement level. Yep, very beautiful, 23.6, right? But another level that I am looking at is this area over here. Okay, a safer level for you to look at is this area. Alright, this level here, this supply zone. Okay, and the reason why is because when price creates such a structure, meaning that we created a higher high, then straight away we formed a lower low, right? most likely price will continue in this direction. Okay, we will take the most recent price action, which is price created a lower low. We are looking for it to create a lower high to form a lower low. Okay, that should be your mindset. Alright, then for your resistance, I would say this level, another pullback resistance level to look at actually. Okay, first resistance, and then for your first support, I would say this whole level right here, this whole area, this common level. Okay, this is your first support. Okay, directional bias, I would say wait for it to see how it reacts here. Then if it breaks past this first resistance, this is your first level to look at. Okay, then possibly looking for sells. Done. And why? Is because price is below the Ichimoku cloud, and we could possibly see price create further further bearish momentum. Okay, so this is how I break down Euro CAD. Looking to go bearish at 1.62 level. 1.62. Oh yeah. Yep. Same. First obstacle 1.615. Okay, 1.615 for your first obstacle. Second level above that, 1.62. Yes, sir. Good job, my friend. Same levels. Proud of you, man. Good stuff. Why do I look so white? I think it's the lighting. Okay. Great. Let me say. Okay. I think we should be done. Okay. All this. Oh. One thing that I wanted to share is this mess over here. Look at this. Look at this US 30 mess. Okay. US 30. Germany 40. Okay, Germany 40, maybe we can still plot something. But look at this. Whenever you see such a mess here, right, just stay out of it. It's not worth it. Okay? But maybe Germany 40 we could do something. Right? Price possibly bullish. Let me see. Price failed to create lower low. I think this is fine. Okay, I think I got my levels. I think this is fine. First pivot point. Please don't break. Still staying above, still alive, but let's see how market opens, and then afterwards we have our first support as an overlap support. Very simple stuff. First resistance over here. Okay, then afterwards we have, what do we have here? Okay, I think I have my levels. Yep, 100% feeble projection, so we are looking for price to continue upwards towards this first resistance area. Okay, for Germany 40. I think very simple. Oh, yeah, I think this is fine. Bullish. Okay, then lastly, oh, yeah, what a mess. What a mess right now for S&P 500. I don't like it. Yeah, stay out of the indices. If you are already in it, great. But if you are not in it, don't be in it. Look at all these crazy weeks. Now's not the right time. Okay, so yeah, I think all these levels are not as nice as it is. Yeah, so we've gone through majors, we have gone through commodities and some indices, as well as one other exotic pair. Okay, yeah, so I think that's it for today's pre-markets live analysis. Okay guys, remember to I hope you guys enjoyed this session as much as I did. Yeah, so yeah, do continue to join such sessions so that we can go through the the weekly market outlook together. Okay, so yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed the session, and that's it from me to you guys. Remember to always stay safe and treat safe. Okay, I shall see you guys in the I think next week. Okay, that's all. Okay, take care and bye bye. Take care guys. No worries my brother, glad you enjoyed it. Bye.